So anyway, Joe and Hobbs and Shapoopy are in the ring. Tony Schiavone has been dressed as the Phantom of the Opera like he did on a Halloween Havoc for WCW 30 fucking years ago. That only, again, the smallest subset of people remember. And they've had people in costumes in the back of the building through these little backstage vignettes. So Tony says, okay, well, now we've got our challenger. So now we're going to bring in our Halloween crew with the contract for the title match. What this, then you could immediately see something was coming from a mile away, because here comes the giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and a giant cow and a giant chicken and a giant bull and others in costume into the ring. And again, Adam Page was the Stay Puft Marshmallow fellow at one of the Halloween shows they did a couple of years ago and surprised somebody, whoever the fuck. So when they all get in the ring, Joe tells Hobbs and Shapoopy, beat all them guys up in the costumes. And they do, and they grab the Marshmallow Man and they pull his head off, and it's some nobody. So then Joe signs the contract, and then they stand there, and you could tell they're trying to get everybody in the right place. And Joe gets the microphone and cuts a promo on Adam Page, who's not there. But he's talking about what he's going to do to Page. But they're all standing awkwardly, and there's some awkward waiting. And then from the floor, because Tony Schiavone's got out of the ring, from the floor, they get a shot from behind the Phantom. And you hear Tony's voice, let's propose now a toast. To, like it's what Schiavone always does, toast Samoa Joe.
That's ever happened ever. I toast the wrestlers.
And yet, let's have a toast now that he signed the contract after he beat up our people in costume. And they hand in bottles of champagne where the heels now are going to toast each other. And the Phantom gets in the ring now and has the microphone in front of his face, and Tony's voice is playing, and he repeats the same goddamn message. But you can tell that the jaw movement from the fucking guy in the ring as dressed as the Phantom is not matching this. And to be honest, if nobody was watching, if you weren't paying any attention at all, you wouldn't really know what was up. But because it was so glaringly obvious, when they say, let's bring out the Halloween crew, you knew something was going to happen. So they switched. Schiavone switched on the floor with Adam Page, who was dressed with a wig and a fucking fake beard, as the Phantom of the Opera instead of Schiavone, and he breaks a bottle over Joe's head. But then to show you how goddamn lost they are, how fucking lost they are, Adam Page breaks a champagne bottle over Samoa Joe's head, and Joe goes down. And then Page jumps out on the apron, and Joe has to stand up so Page can hit him with a buckshot lariat. And then he gets on top of him and hits him with 16 fake fucking punches that never came near and were in no way convincing. He broke a bottle over the guy's head. Break the bottle. The guy's laying there immobile. Take your fucking wig and mask off and get your pop. You fucking idiot. You complete moron. You imbecile. So it takes you breaking a bottle over a guy's head. Then he gets up, you hit him with your finish, and then you got to get on him and punch him 16 times in a way that looks like a pussy girl because you're weak. I don't know why else. What the fuck? So they can't even do an angle without doing too much and making the baby face look like a moron. But it was a cute idea. And the people popped in the building. And there's ways they could have not telegraphed it that would have been better, but it wasn't bad. But then the payoff of the whole thing is the Phantom breaks the bottle over the guy's head, and that's forgotten 5 seconds later when they go to the wrestling move, followed by the weak shit. So you forgot about the bottle.
Yeah, I had forgotten about the bottle. I remember the surprise, not the bottle. And actually, it was a surprise to me because I wasn't paying enough attention to the Schiavone character. I was waiting for something to happen because it was obviously telegraphed something would happen, but I wasn't paying attention to Adam Page or Schiavone at all. So
what called my attention to Schiavone also was when I realized that you were hearing his voice and him making this statement, but they were trying as best as they could not to show him until he got in the ring. And then the jaw was not matching the voiceover, which was, he was saying the same thing again anyway. I'm like, why? What? Then I realized it's not him.
So should Samoa Joe be mad at Schiavone for obviously participating in this and lending his voice?
Yes, I think he ought to Coquina clutch Schiavone to fucking Kingdom Come. He had to be in on it.
Or maybe he's stupid, because who would fall for Schiavone saying, "And now a toast"? When has that ever happened? Never.
Well, but it's the same point. You had Schiavone and Page, they obviously had to collaborate and cross-dressing with each other. So I think he's guilty. So anyway, Adam Page is going to wrestle Samoa Joe again on the pay-per-view after he just beat him.
But I guess just to wrap this up, the specific point when it comes to a weapon that's not typically used that should be devastating, that should be the out. Not that and then more stuff that's not needed.
And it's, I know the old saying is that, well, you're following a shooting with a stabbing. And there's, there's a moral to that story. But when you think about this, yes, the breaking the bottle over a guy's head, that'll do some damage. Okay, the buckshot, that'll hurt a guy too. But the guy that you just broke the bottle over his head has to stand up for you to do that. So wasn't no reason to do it except it's fancy and you wanted to do it. And then when you get on top of a guy and hit him 16 times and they all look like shit and his face is not caved in, then you've just started out running over a guy with a fucking car and now you ended up farting on him while you're going in the wrong direction. They've been going in the wrong direction for quite a while, though.